Today's conversation is one that is very dear to my heart because it's the reason why I do this, right? It's how to train your mentality, how to train a winning mentality. So I'm going to start with a story about myself. When I was in high school, the coaches saw my ability and said, "You're going to be one of the state's best." And I believed them. And that became one of the state's best. Got to junior college, my coaches were like, "You're going to be one of the state's best again. Like, you're really talented." And then I became one of the state's best. Got to Cal State Los Angeles. They're like, Sheila Hudson was my coach at that time. And she was like, "You're going to make nationals both in hurdles and triple jump. And you should be expecting to be there and expecting to win." And I was like, "You got it." Right. And then I graduated college and I was competing as a professional. And I was looking for someone to tell me how good I was going to be. And I said to myself, "Why don't I tell myself? Because I'm coaching myself. Let me just tell myself." So I was like, "I want to make USA championships. I'm going to make nationals." And I did. I PR'd at the meet, finished 13th in the US. The next year, I was like, "I want to be ranked in the world. Like, that'd be really cool." Fast forward a year later, finished sixth indoors, ranked in the world. And so I say that not to brag, but I mean, I'm very proud of myself and things I've accomplished as an athlete. Um, but I say that because during that time frame of the second I decided to go pro until now, I guess, I've had a way of thinking and a belief system. And this belief system was what actually helped me survive through post collegiate track and field. Post collegiate track and field is very challenging, very time consuming, emotionally draining. And during that time frame, I went through a lot of emotions. First thing was I was a blank slate. I had no idea what I was doing, no idea what to expect. I'll get into my personal story later on, but what I will say is I didn't know how to think for myself during this time. And I read some books. Those books taught me to think for myself, the power of my mind and what it could do. And just I was able to change my perception. When I ended up changing my perception, I then got to a point where I was literally writing goals and I would dream about these goals all the time. The first year in 2010, I was like crazy obsessed about these goals. And I set 4 specific goals. I'm not going to tell you those now, but I set those goals and I achieved each and every goal. The next year, I'm like, this was cool. I had a great year. I met all the goals I set for myself last year. I'm going to set 4 new goals. I set 4 new goals, achieved all of those the next year. And I was like, wow. I decided then to set another goal, like a dream goal of mine. It was to get my dream car, right? Fast forward, I got the dream car. And I was just like, wow. Like, I truly have this, like, I cracked the code, essentially. It's what it felt like, right? I'm going to pause it there. Fast forward to just recently, yesterday, I had an athlete reach out to me and he was like, "I feel that I'm scared to jump far." And then it took me back to those days I was competing. And I was thinking, did I ever have a time where I was afraid to jump? And the answer is yes. So my best jump ever, there's a video that I have on YouTube explaining my best jump ever. And long story short, I got to Washington, was competing, and I was cramping up, both of my calves cramping up. And like that was the only chance that I could qualify for indoors, and like the only meet that I had, and I did not have the qualifying mark. And I was like, and I had to PR, like I had to have my lifetime best jump right now, this moment, and I had a plane to catch in 3 hours. So like I got these three jumps to jump a lifetime best, or I'm not going to USA Nationals. um, Cramping up, and I said to myself, I know cramps mean that I'm done for the day. And I said, no, I don't believe that. I choose not to believe, excuse me, I choose not to believe that cramps means I'm done. I'm going to visualize my muscles and my calves relaxed. So I run down the runway on my first attempt and I cramp up. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so stupid. Like I spent my last dollar to get here and this is it. Like my indoor season is done. And I was like, you know what? It's not. I sat there and I just pictured, I said, well, why am I here? And I said, I'm here to jump my lifetime best. The next jump, was it my second jump? No, next jump, I jumped with more belief and I jumped like 50 feet or something like that. And I was like, okay, like I'm good, right? And then I realized I was like, I don't have time to jump in the finals because it's a long story, but basically I didn't have time to jump in the finals. This jump, the third jump, was the jump that I had to jump my lifetime best. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it now. It's time. And then I run down the runway, I jump and I jump my lifetime best, qualify for USA indoors. And like just I was so emotional, so happy, proud of myself. The reason why I'm not going into details is because I have a full video that says everything. But I did it, right? And looking back at that, I was like connecting with the kid that says, I feel like I'm blocking myself. I said, I had a belief system. And what I realized is throughout my whole career, I would always have calf cramps. But I was able to remove the calf cramp during a competition. And I said, well, when did I have these calf cramps? And it was only at big pressure track meets, never at practice, never at meet, like all comers, all that small stuff. And I said, it is my perception. It's the way that I think. The way that I think is preventing me from performing at a very high level. Excuse me. Excuse me. At a very high level. So I'm like, okay, what can I tell this athlete? And I said, think about your thought process. Have you ever been let down in your life? And he was like, well, yeah, of course, yeah. And I said, okay, the way I think, I said, you don't have to believe me on this, just my perception. I'm just sharing with you how I think is I truly feel that my thoughts is what I experience. If I go into a party, like this party sucks, I don't want to be here, I'm not going to have a fun time. But if I go into this party with the opposite, I'm going to have an opposite time. And so I broke down this philosophy, right? We have your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. And science says that this is not a part of the body. We just know that it's there, but it's not a part of the physical body. And the conscious mind's job is to consciously do and think for us. Like we think whatever we think, right? And the subconscious mind is designed to run on autopilot for us. So whenever we consciously put into our subconscious mind these thoughts and feelings and attitudes, the subconscious mind thinks for us so that the event that's happening doesn't distract us by now being filling up our conscious mind. Let me say that again, I guess a better way. The subconscious mind is like a bodyguard, right? And the conscious mind is saying, hey, bodyguard, I don't want to deal with people that are fans. I don't want to deal with people that are irritating. I don't want to deal with certain experiences. But if they ever happens, I want you to answer it and figure it out for me. Get it done. Don't bug me with that nonsense, right? So what's a subconscious thing? It's my heart beating. It's me sweating whenever I get hot. It's keeping my body temperature regulated. It's me digesting my food. We don't think these things. It just happens, right? But it's not that it's not that it's just happening, is we're thinking it subconsciously. So consciously we can be aware of all these things, right? I hope you follow me now. So I said, have you ever been let down? And he was like, of course. I said, okay, think about the very first time you were let down ever, like just that you're aware of it. And then he thought about it. He didn't tell me a story, but he thought about it. And he's like, okay. And I said, that was the very first time you made a decision when it came down to if you want being let down to be a part of your life. And I said, at that moment, you then told your subconscious mind exactly what it is that you want out of your life and what you wanted to be bothered with. And so what happens is many times I'll give an example of myself. I got hit in the face one day with a ball, right? Didn't feel good. Consciously, I said, I don't like that. So whenever a ball's flying in my face, I'm going to move out the way. I'm going to turn my head, protect my face. I then was training a pro baseball player and threw a ball at him. Hey, heads up, watch out. He literally just put his hand up and caught it. And I was like, yo, I would have like ducked, like hit everywhere. And he was like, yeah, that's natural. But as a pro athlete, if you put your hand in front of your face, you're going to be able to protect your face. And I was like, that's a great answer. So he was trained differently than what I was trained. So his response subconsciously is different than mine. And so back to this guy, right? I said, you decided something in that moment. Maybe you were let down. And then from there, you then were looking for being let down another time. So now when you're looking for being let down and it happens, you're like, see, I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. Why did you know it was going to happen? Because I thought it before. And now that it didn't happen or it did happen, you then harden your belief system. So then you tell your subconscious mind again, I know this. This person lets me down. This event lets me down all the time. Now it becomes this superstition of every time, I don't do these three things, I'm going to have a bad day. Or every time it's raining or overcast, it's going to be a bad competition. Whatever beliefs you guys have, and you guys are probably thinking like, you understand what I'm saying. And so I said, if that happened to you where you were let down at 6 years old, then at 7, someone else let you down. 8 years old, so on, so on, so on. All of a sudden now you're 16 and you know for a fact that whenever I try my hardest, things don't work out. Like that's just where you're at. Okay. It's not always your fault. But consciously, you're not asking for that. You're saying, I really want to make it to state. I want to do my best. I want to PR. I want to go to college. I want to have so much fun. I want to do all these things. However, the subconscious mind is blocking off all these things because it's been told, I don't want this. So you've sat here and said, I really have these 3 goals set for myself and I want them to come, and they come. The goal is like, hey, my name is PR. We're going to PR today. And the subconscious mind says, what's your name? He's like, PR, I'm personal best. All right, me. And it says, no, thanks. We can't take you right now because you're consistent with letting him feel upset, feel hurt because you're going to fail him. And now it's like, okay, if that's true, how do I get rid of that? I don't have the answer for you specifically, but I can tell you what I did. What I did was I made general comments. So instead of me picturing my lifetime best jump, I couldn't imagine a lifetime best jump because I never did it before, right? But I had hit personal best, but never hit 52 feet. Like that's just different. And I said, okay, I'm not going to see this as this big dream goal. I'm going to think about something that already implies that I've already done this. And I said, okay, how do I do that? And I was like, my celebration. What is my celebration that I'm going to be doing when I hit a personal best? And I had this little dance, right? And then I also had a Facebook post that I had sitting in my drafts that said exactly what I wanted to say. Something along the lines of I did it, I made USA championships, I'm qualified, I did my personal best, blah, blah, blah. And the mark that I put on there was like 52 feet and 3 inches, something like that. I jumped 52, 4 and a quarter, or something like that. I jumped like within an inch of that goal that I set for myself. So it was hard for me to picture the exact experience, but it was easy for me to experience and have the joy and the feeling of it. So now I was able to dance in my room that I was renting of my new PR, right? I felt what it felt like. And so for 6 months when I was training, I would go to sleep with this feeling of doing it. So when I jumped my personal best, I didn't feel myself jumping. What I pictured and imagined was myself in bed visualizing that actual motion, that thought of me dancing and all that stuff. It was crazy, right? So to circle all this back to how to train your mentality, everything always starts with consciousness, dreaming, your thoughts. Your thoughts are where you start to develop your mentality. Think something and then you write it down. When you think something and you write it down, it's become real. Why? Because a thought is now in physical form in front of you in the format of pen and paper, right? Um, when it comes to your imagination, say, I'm going to get up today, I'm going to sit over there on that couch today. When you physically get up and you do it, now you've taken action, right? And now you've completed your actual goal. So many times we say we're going to do stuff and we don't make it big because it's normal, right? Going to class, getting a grade that we're looking for. That stuff is like normal, right? But it's like, but why is it? Why is it normal? Why can't it be something big? Why can't me getting up and going over there, sitting on that couch be amazing to me? When I trick my mind into saying, I'm going to think something, then I'm going to do it. I'm going to think something, then I'm going to say it. I'm going to think something and imagine as if I've already done it. Your brain does not know the difference between something that's been thought and something that's actually happened because the information is processed in the brain and it's only taking information and saying, this is what's happened, right? If you were to close your eyes right now and say to yourself, like, and picture yourself in your dream car or dream house or jumping your dream distances, if you think long enough, your body's going to respond to your thoughts and you're going to feel good. Okay. If you were to close your eyes and think about a sad moment in your life, after a while, you're going to start feeling sad. So, my biggest thing is if you think a certain thought long enough, you're going to feel a certain way. When you feel a certain way, then you're now expecting good things to happen because you put your mind in this place. There's so much more to this that I've studied since 2010. But at the end of the day, what I will say is this: you have to set your goals. And if you are setting dream goals, you're like, I don't know if I'm going to get that. It's okay. Start there. And what you can do is set a goal you know you can achieve today. I know I'm going to go work out today. I know I'm going to eat this dinner at this time. And then you write it down and you check it off. Easy. Done. The next day and the next day. Keep doing goals that are super easy. After a while, you're going to be like, man, I've been setting and achieving every single goal that I set for myself. Next step, set a goal a little bit further out. In the next month, I'm going to hit 30 or 400 push-ups, whatever the goal it may be. When you accomplish that, you're going to continue to stretch out these goals to the point to where your dream goal that you once had is no longer a dream. It's happening on Thursday, right? I used to have my dream car as a dream, and I said, it's just a car, though. It's just a car. So I said, I want this car for free. Yes, 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 yes. You heard that right. I was able to imagine a Range Rover, my dream car, the exact color, year, make, and model for free. Yes. If you want to hear that story, I'll tell you that. Um, but I will say that I've been using this secret of manifestation. Some people would call it law of attraction, how whatever you want to call it. But basically, whatever religion, whatever belief systems you have, is your thoughts is what frames your experiences. I think my thoughts create my experiences, but you don't have to believe what I believe in. But we can agree that if you walk into a party with a negative mindset, you're going to have an experience consistent with your negative mindset. Okay. So when it comes to you on the track, you have to truly believe that you are the best athlete around. And if you're physically maybe not seeing the numbers that are the best athlete around, well, then you're in process of being the best athlete around. You're developing to be the best athlete around. You're training to be the best athlete around. You're literally doing everything you need to do to be the best athlete around. This, you can frame it however you want. At the end of the day, if you continue doing this, it's going to steamroll or snowball effect into the next one and keep developing. Right? No, you don't got to be arrogant. No, you don't have to be, over conceited, all these things, but you can be proud of yourself. You can be very, very proud of yourself that no one will ever take that from you, and have fun. So that is the way that I was able to train my mentality to a winning mentality. I'm still learning, I'm still developing, but however, I will say I'm doing pretty good. And you can too. And a lot of my athletes are doing the exact same thing. And now you get to watch these athletes, especially the one that I'm talking about, develop and grow to where they're on the track, confident with a winning mentality. All right. Till next time.